welcome back to Motion and Design. So I've been messing around recently with just some like R&D, and one of the things I wanted to create was this kind of like Pyro Advection type of thing, but more of a way of taking the Pyro Advect but kind of elevating it a little bit and not using it in the way that you would usually use a Pyro Advect. I wanted to create these kind of like smooth looking clouds and then have the particles follow it, kind of like, I don't know, I just wanted this like really smooth look. And so the best way I could think about doing that was using a Pyro Advect. So yeah, I feel like the result ended up being pretty cool. It creates these like really weird results and has like particles coming in on itself, and it's just really nice and smooth and like, I don't know, satisfying to watch. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you do, consider liking and subscribing, and then also if you're interested in the project files, that will be up on my Patreon. But yeah, without any further ado, let's get into it. Cool, so let's start out by creating a spline. So we're just going to select spline tool, go into our front view, and let's just draw out a shape over here. So it doesn't really matter too much what the shape is. You can, you can use your discretion. I'm just going to do something simple like this. Let me go up and down, something like that. And then let's just go over here and move these apart just so we can add some like three-dimensionality to it. Is that a word? Three-dimensionality? I don't know. Sounds right, but also sounds wrong. Doesn't really matter. You get what I'm trying to say. Let's just move these over. Something like that. That should be good. And let's just rotate this one like this. And you bring it a lot forward like that. Cool. So now that we have that, this is going to be the base shape of our render over here. So yeah, spend some time on this, create what you want. I mean, if you want, you could even create text. It's actually a good idea. Maybe we should do that. But yeah, for now, let's do this. Okay, cool. Let's go and add a sphere over here. Let's make it about 15 centimeters, and let's go align to spline. Set our spline over here. Let's set this to about 180 frames. Set a position over here, go to 180 and set a position over there. Let's just select these two keyframes, set this to linear, and now it should follow it. I'm kind of happy with the way it's following it now, but depending on how you did the spline, it's going to have different amount of speeds from going from one point to the other. If you want it completely linear throughout the entire duration over here, go into our spline, set it to uniform, and then add like 50. I mean, just a number over here. And now you'll see it's a lot smoother and linear. But I think I'm going to keep it at this adaptive just so that we have a little bit of variation in the speed between each point. I think it looks kind of cool. Cool, so now that we have that, let's go into our sphere, go into simulations, and let's say Pyro Emitter. So this is going to be the thing that drives most of our simulation. So I'm just going to let it play so you can see what each change does. So the first thing we want to do is we want to get rid of the fire because we don't really need that. We're only looking for our smoke, which is our density. So let's go and turn off temperature. And now that I'll get rid of the fire, let's go to Command D, go to Simulations, Pyro, and we want the smoke to retain its shape. We don't want it to dissipate. So we're going to go down here to Density, and let's turn this off, and this off. And now you'll see that we will keep our density throughout. But we're getting a lot of these details, which could be nice depending on what you want to do, but I really wanted this like nice, smooth, clean look to the way that the smoke flowed. So we can do that by going over here into our extra forces. Let's go to our turbulence over here, and we want to turn this off. You can keep it on if you want to, but I wanted it to be smooth, so now you'll see it's a bit smoother. But we also want to remove our buoyancy, so let's turn this off over here, and this off over here, and now you'll see the smoke is a lot smoother, which is exactly what I was wanting. Let's also go into our scene, turn off gravity, and yeah, this is looking pretty good. But the smoke is flying away too much. I mean, it's kind of cool. Maybe that's what you want to do with your render if you want to make it a little bit different. But I wanted mine to stick quite close to the spline that I created. So to do that, we're going to go to Simulation, Forces, Field Force. I'm going to drag our spline in here. Let's change this from add velocity to set absolute velocity. We're going to add string to 500. I'm going to change the spline from distance mode to radius. And now you'll see it stays with the spline, which is what we want. Nice. Okay, I think I want to change this up just a little bit because we want these let's just go over here. Let's bring this in just a bit and see, is that, yeah, I think let's do that, because what's happening is that we're using this field force, and the field force is with the spline. So I think when we're putting the spline closer to each other, it's creating more force over there, which gives us these nice results like that. Let's just actually, I'm gonna leave it for now, and we can adjust that later. I think this is a good starting point over here. We've got our smooth smoke, and it's doing what we want it to do. Cool. Let's go and add particles. So we're gonna go click on our sphere right here, simulate emitters, and then mesh emitter. So now we should get particles coming from our, they are there, they're just hidden by the smoke. We want to add a lot more, so let's maybe make this like 100,000. Let's go to our properties, let's turn off speed, and now you'll see that we get a bunch of particles. Okay, well, it's a little bit difficult to see, but you can see that there's particles that are there. We want the particles now to follow the shape of the smoke, and we can do that pretty easily by going into modifiers and clicking on Pyro Advection. We're going to put our Pyro Advection into our particle group, and now you'll see when you press play, nothing happens. The reason for that is because Cinema 4D works in like a, I don't know, top to bottom, and there's a technical word for it. Can't think of it right now. But if we just move this to the bottom, you'll see that our particles are now following our smoke. Yeah, you can see it's moving over there, which is exactly what we want. Cool, so that's that for that. We want to add just a little bit more detail into this. So let's go simulations, modifiers, and we want to add a follow spline. Let's put this into our group, set the spline to target spline. Let's change this to force. And now, let me show you what it's doing. Yeah, you can see over here that now what's happening is that the particles are getting pulled towards the spline. So we're getting these nice, weird results to it, which is really cool. Okay, let's add a little bit more detail to our simulation by going into our voxel size and setting this to about 2. That should solve our problem over here, because now we'll get even more detailing. We'll get these really, yeah, that's what we're looking for. So now we're getting these like really weird, smooth shapes that I really like. I think it looks so cool. It's like, oh, Lena Sorbet. Yeah, I think that looks sick. Cool, so let's go and add some color to this. Let's go into simulations, modifier, and let's go and add a color mapper. We're gonna put this in here, and we're gonna change our property to distance traveled. And now, ooh, look at that. Isn't that's just so cool. Yeah, I think that looks sick. Nice, okay, cool. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the simulation. I think showing you this, you kind of get the idea of how we would go about, changing things. If you want to change it up a bit, you can turn on, if you want to, but even turn off the field force, get some different results over here. Maybe this is what you want. Maybe you want something like this. This, in my opinion, is a little too much like a traditional Pyro Advection, so I don't know. Maybe that's what you want, but for me, I wanted something a little bit more stylized, a little bit more, so that I had a little bit more control over it. So the field force pretty much carries this. Gives these really nice shapes over here, and it's the follow spline that creates those sales. No, I don't know. It's the field force that does that. But the follow spline just adds a little bit more movement to the particles. Okay, awesome. Let's start texturing and lighting the scene. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie. In every modern tutorial nowadays, and like, Cinema 4D, the background is always a gradient. I love the gradient, you love the gradient, we all love the gradient. For the life of me, I cannot figure out how to make the gradients in the latest version of Cinema 4D. Usually you just plug in like a ramp into the dome light, but that just does not work. So my way of getting around it is I just go into an old project file, grab the the legacy texture over here. I just grabbed the legacy texture where, we would just add a C4D shader with the ramp and add that into our dome light. And I just copy that into, our latest version over here. So I'm just going to copy this from my previous scene and paste it. Okay, I guess it doesn't want to paste. Okay, there we go. And now in the background, we should have a gradient. I've shown you guys how to do gradients before, but it's just literally a 4D shader. You add a gradient into there, and you plug that into our dome lights. And there we go. You have a shader. And to get that dome light, all you do is say, is it edit graph? Yeah, edit graph. But I mean, I'll show you what I mean. So this is a little bit of a weird tangent, but then we go over here, dome light, add graph. So now we get this new graph, and now we have this. You would think that maybe, you'd do what you did previously, you'd add a ramp and you plug this into the light, but no, that doesn't work. I have no idea how to solve this. If you know, please message me or put it in the comments, because for the life of me, I can't figure out, and it's so annoying having to go into an old project to get a legacy the texture just to do this. It's very annoying. But anyways, let's continue over here and let's make our scene look nice. Okay, so let's just do the basic things. Let's just let this sim for a bit. Now what we want is we want to be able to see our particles. We should be able to see our particles over here. Let's just go and add a dome light just for now so we can see the colors, and let's just turn off background just so we can see what I was looking at. The reason for that is that this one that I brought in, I just removed the diffusion, reflection, and transmission, just so that it's just pure black so that I can add the light in later. Cool, so now that we have that, let's go onto our particle group. Let's go to render. Let's add a optimize spheres. The reason I do this is just so that, later on, maybe if I want to increase the size of the spheres or decrease the size of the spheres, I can just do it over here quite simply and easily. So I like how this looks. So what I think I'll do is, once I'm happy with the way that everything's looking, I'm going to go into my mesh emitter over here and maybe just add another 0 over there just so we have more detail. But for now, this is fine. Let's go into our color mapper over here and let's change our colors. Let's go into load preset. Let's choose something let's go this over here. And I think I'm going to do something like that. I think if we select all of these, there's a way to distribute select points. There we go. Now it's evenly distributed. And now we'll get this nice blue, which is kind of what I'm going for. Let's also go here and go into create material, pyro volume. I'm going to put that on top of our pyro output up here. Cool. Now they had some smoke over there. Let's just go over here and increase the density a little bit. And I guess I want it to be a little bit more white. Something like that should be fine. I think something like that. I kind of wanted that the smoke is kind of this added thing to the outside of it. I think that works for now. Let's go and delete this. Oh, that actually looks quite cool with no lighting. But actually, let me just some VRAMs. As long as it doesn't crash, I'm happy. Okay, now that you heard that, let's go and add some lights. So let's go add an area light. I want one light that's going to be coming from the back. So let's face it like this. Let's go to our top view. Let's just move it back here and kind of angle it like that. Yeah, something like that. So we just have this nice backlighting over here. And then let's just turn down our intensity. This is more just backlight over there. Let's go and add another light. And let's lock our camera over here. Go camera, use selected and selected object. Now we're using our light as our camera so that we can kind of just move around. Although, damn it. Oh, I forgot I don't have a camera set up. So let me just quickly add a camera. Let's just frame this quick. And now let's go into our lights and let's do the same thing again. Camera, selected object. Let's find a angle that looks appealing. Yeah, something like that should be fine for now. We can always adjust this later. Let's go back into our camera over here. I'm gonna change the focal length maybe to like 8, not 8, 0. I quite like these like really tight focal lengths. Let's just zero this out. And then I want to go here and set us to something like a square over here, just so that, and I feel like with this type of shape, it frames it better like that. Let's go and add a bit more particles. I think that'll fill out these gaps a bit more and make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. So let's go and resend this. Yeah, it's a little bit slower because there's a lot more particles, but look at that detail that we're getting, which is really cool. Capture. Nice. Yeah, look at that detail, look there. One thing I really like about this technique is that we get these weird shapes like this. It kind of like goes in itself. I don't know, you'll see in my render that there's like, yeah, like even over here, it's like these shapes that kind of like go into itself, and I think that looks so cool. Yeah, I think this is pretty much it for the tutorial. I think you guys can go in, spend a little bit more time adjusting the lights. Alternatively, you can just download my project file and see what I did over there. But this is pretty much the main technique that we're going to be using. So yeah, I think I've shown you guys enough that you can art direct this in a way to create your own render. Yeah, change up the colors over here, change up whatever you want, and yeah, make a cool render. Another thing you can do, sorry, slight detour, you can also change the color of the smoke over here. So maybe you want to go with a blue smoke over here, or you know, red. Kind of cool. I don't know, not really my vibe. I wanted it to be like kind of all blue. But anyways, I'm just trying to show you guys that you can change things like that. And same with the color mapper, change up the color of the particles. You know, we can go with something pink over here. If we just play it for a frame, it should change. Yeah, and now we got something new. You know, change the background, mess around with it, make it your own. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. And again, if you're interested in the project files, I'll be in my Patreon. Yeah, give it a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.